See if we can get him to work at DTLT today.
Yeah, that's right.
Jim Groom, what happened? Why did you leave us?
I really don't know what happened.
You don't know what
Do you remember anything?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks has been a big blackout. I
So
know
we
that
hear.
I was in a different time zone.
Yeah.
I know that I wasn't here. But I can't
we know
tell
that
you
too.
too much more.
Yeah, we didn't even bother to light the eternal flame for you with all these episodes we've done before now.
No, you didn't. Like before, it was like always like Jim Groom, come back.
Mm-hmm.
This time it was basically like,
It felt more like a clean break, like we could move on. But now you're back, and all of these old feelings are just surging up in my bathing suit area again.
yeah, that's interesting. We call that the funky cold Medina, where I'm from. But
So
yeah.
welcome to DTLT today.
Thank you. It's good to be back on the show.
I was welcoming our viewers.
It's
but
good for them,
you
I'm sure, too.
It is probably good for them that you're back.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure of that.
You're
I'm
not
not
sure.
certain.
Lots of capital letters, lots of love for you on the chat.
Lots of love.
Yeah, big fan, Julia, noise professor. Although they're doing it for each other.
Well, there's a groom. There's a groom at the bottom.
Okay, good. Thank you, Julia. I was wondering.
A groom.
Groom.
So tell us about your trip.
They're not booing. They're saying groom.
Groom. That means, we haven't gotten full steam yet. Yeah, so my trip, I don't even remember when it started. October 21st around?
It seems like August.
October 24th, I left that Monday.
Really?
Yeah, and I went to Salt Lake City. I met up with Chris Lott. I was actually working on my presentation in the airport, waiting for Brian Lamb to come in later, and Mikhail and Grant and all them. But then Chris was there, so he's like, hey, I'm going to meet Jared in downtown Salt Lake City. Jump in.
Jared Stein?
Jared Stein. So we just went and cruised around Salt Lake City. We hung out at a bookstore. We talked. He was awesome to talk about the MOOC because he's been following the change very closely. He's been following DS-106 very closely.
Okay.
And he's been talking about it, and he's actually doing some research on MOOCs because he's in a very interesting situation. I think you guys would find this interesting. He's taking classes in a master's program for instructional technology that he designed. Sound familiar?
Yeah, it does.
That's what we're doing. So he's doing the same thing to get his own degree of classes that he's teaching. Mm-hmm. It's just bizarre.
Wow.
So, we can relate to that. But anyway, he's actually focusing and doing research on the MOOC.
Okay.
And he talked extensively about the MOOC, and he said what he thought was different about DS-106 is people actually made things, and that distinguished everything. And then we cruised up to Park City. And Park City Hotel was like 3 different hotels, and it was kind of like the Overlook.
Oh.
Like the mountains were there, and the snow was just starting. And,
sounds
there
awful.
was all sorts of different, like hallways, and it was kind of empty.
Is there any big wheels?
Big wheels,
Running
twins.
around? Yeah, okay. Axes.
Exactly. I found myself locked in a big food dry
Big
storage.
Ice chest, sure.
Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, Park City was interesting. I mean, the Open Ed conference was kind of colonized by I went to a couple after conference parties, and there were a lot of entrepreneurs, startups giving me all these cards about this and that. But I got so bombed the day after my presentation that I was useless. Like, people were avoiding me because I did something. That was when we had this kind of dark cast. I guess it was on the radio, but it has come to be known as...
Can't say it.
Can't say it.
Get ready for the bleep.
The
For the
cast. And that was pretty crazy. But the the presentation, the keynote, people seemed to like it. We had a great time. Funnest poster session I ever had was DS-106 radio poster session. Brian Lamb and Chris Lott went out with their cells, and they had interviews.
Like a remote broadcast
it
with
was
the PBX.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And PBX really came to, and it was a lot of fun. Brian's presentation on sustainability was fascinating because I mean, it was such a term that people were throwing around, and he actually was trying to nail down what exactly it means for ed tech. And for me, it was interesting because it's being used again and again, but no one's really thinking about what it means. And so his presentation was really trying to think it through with examples from Zach, and it was just interesting. It was an interesting conference, and I think what happened is you felt like there was some sort of spirit like Open Ed. Went back to 2009 when it started. As for me, with the kind of move in different directions than just like OER. And I felt like, maybe in 2012 it's going back to Vancouver. David, while I was really excited about the energy that happened the day me and the Gates Foundation guy kind of did head-to-head.
Yeah.
And so it kind of was fun, So I loved it. I mean, I didn't know how the presentation would go, but Gardner Campbell, listening to him on the radio the night before with Alan, talking about radio and vinyl and all that really got me excited. And then he's talked about
experiences
open educational
versus
experience.
resources. Yeah,
just nailed it for me. And I was like, okay, it's perfect. And so that's where it went.
So how was
Gardner?
How was the Gates Foundation talk before yours?
I thought it was scattered, and I think he kind of made points that people could kind of come to on, but like. It seemed like the corporations and the flat word knowledge guy, who was a total salesman, did the same thing. They went back to, and then there's poor Becky, who has a kid, and who's single, and who's trying to go to school, but no one will pay for her tuition. And I know Becky exists, but it was just this kind of like, real way to suck you in and say like, there's starving children in China, right. Eat your food or give me money. It's like, it didn't touch anything. Yeah, it's like he's going out and helping Becky.
If you can't make DS-106 scale, then poor Becky's children aren't going to be able to eat.
Well, that reminds me of those artificial scenarios that the Badges did. It's like, here's these people who, need to, they've got this great education, but they can't prove it. So, Becky, who's an inner city dweller, needs to...
because we don't have the internet where you can frame a personality and contact people and make something. I mean,
or you couldn't put what you do online and show... that you can produce something.
And Becky's genius can come to the fore.
Either Becky can't get the knowledge or she can't get a badge to show that she got it. She can't get a break either way.
Yeah, Becky needs to go to University of Phoenix.
Yeah, clearly.
So, I mean, I was really kind of disgruntled a little bit. I mean, his talk was interesting, and I was all ready to be like, you know what I did? I sent this guy an email because he said he wanted to talk to me.
Yeah, of course.
So I sent him an email. This is kind of funny. I don't think I've talked about this publicly. I should actually get the email up. And I basically said, look, I'm all for the Gates Foundation, and I'm all for the Gates Foundation funding us like $1 million to get a bus and go around the country on tour. DS-106 on tour.
That's right.
Like, we'll play bands and we'll talk about DS-106.
We're not going to give anything back to you. We just want a
there
bus.
There is no metric. We want a bus and we want money to travel from city to city and hopefully internationally.
So I didn't see you pull that $1 million check out today.
And he was not interested. He wrote me back and he said, that's kind of not what the Gates Foundation does.
We'll have a little logo.
That's
the Gates Foundation on the bus.
I thought it was fun. Like the idea of like, you really want to talk to me? Here's what I would like. And, I probably should have approached it more professionally because this was my chance to really, like, sell out and, like, get money maybe from someone. But they really weren't interested.
You are reaching that threshold. $1 million is about the area where you would go to the other side.
I would. But I figured if you're going to go, and DS-106 was written on the backs of so many people, that if we were going to do it, we would all have to enjoy in the party. And it would be a pool. We'd get a bus, and anyone who's available, hopefully get everyone vacation time, and, like, get someone to hire behind.
I would think with the $1 million, a couple people could become available.
Yes,
sure.
I think
you would hope so anyway.
I mean, I think we can get the core people in.
Right,
and pay them. Or at least make sure that the bus stopped where they live for like 3 weeks. Right? Like we could go to Zach Dowell's for like 3 weeks and hang out in the shed. He'd probably be done with us after 3 hours. But so that was my big attempt. It didn't work.
Yeah, like you say, you may need to, to put some effort into it next time.
That's right. I may not have to be hangover after the day after and like just basically.
You didn't bring your A game for that.
I did not. But you know what? I have no interest in dealing with people who, especially when Gates recently said yesterday, what did he say? That the problem with education is that teachers don't know anything about it.
Right.
So this is the war on teachers right now that is happening a la the Gates Foundation.
Yep.
And I cannot stand behind that, at all. So that was Salt Lake City.
Okay.
You guys ready for Portland?
I'm ready for Portland.
Yeah, am I dominating this show too much?
No.
No, this is the Welcome Back Jim show.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So Friday morning, I'm in Salt Lake City. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday morning, first thing in the morning, me, Grant Potter, and Chris Lott, who was awesome, took us back to the airport at Salt Lake, and I went to meet my friend Zach in Portland. Zach I've known since Brooklyn. Our kids were born about the same time in Brooklyn. Then when I came to Virginia, he went to Portland. I tried to go to Portland and apply for a job at Reed, like my second year here, but they weren't having it. Me and the guy, like basically Marty Ringel, who's the CIO there, who I actually saw on this trip, was basically like, I'm not sure. I was like, to be honest, da-da-da-da. He's like, you haven't been honest so far in this? And I was like, what? No. Anyway, all sorts of confusion. But anyway, the reason I went back to Portland is the Northwest Academic Computing Consortium, which is an awesome group. And so I went and partied with Zach, and we hung out, and I love the city of Portland. I could talk about that extensively. I would definitely move to Portland. But
in between all of like the work that you've been doing, you found some time here and there to party, is what you mean?
Yes, I did find a little bit of time between emails of you, like, what do I fucking do, right? Like, you're like crybaby cast. I'm all alone. Can you help me?
I do.
But between that, and all your DTLT sessions I had to watch today, I did find time to do a little, personal time.
Oh, good.
Is that all right?
Yeah, it is.
When I was gone, did you do anything personal, or was it?
You're the director. It's all right.
Was it purely work for you while I was gone? So. Yeah, had fun. We did a lot of cool stuff. I could talk about Portland extensively, but when I got to the Northwest Academic Computing Consortium, these people, there was like 45 people. They were from like University of Oregon, Oregon State, a groovy little school that I want to go check out called Evergreen State College.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
These people were awesome. They're doing all the stuff we're doing. They have their own studio, radio. They have WordPress. Yeah. They are rocking there. And a couple of people, particularly this woman, Amy Green, she's doing amazing stuff. Major fan. So they were there. People from Washington State, Southern Oregon, Portland State University, Portland University, all over the map. And they were awesome people. There was 45 of them. The consortium pays for them all to come, puts them up, and puts them in a room to talk about issues. So I presented about DS-106 and all that stuff. The rest of this presentation were us all sitting around talking about what is digital literacy. And someone just facilitated it. What is faculty development? And they were all instructional technologists pretty much. So it was really cool to be with a group of people, and there was no set agenda. It was just come and talk about issues. And there was like predefined issues. There was a whole session on WordPress. And I talked basically about some of the stuff we're doing, but everybody talked about what they're doing. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. That's, in a way, I've never been to EduCon, but that's my hope. I think Martha and I are going to get up there this year. And that's sort of what I understand EduCon to be, in a way, is that it's more discussions than sessions.
Yeah.
And I love that model of it. Like, why do we need to take this crappy idea of the lecture class and turn it into a conference where everybody's lecturing you on how they do things, as opposed to turning it into a discussion?
And it really did work. And everybody was engaged. Everyone was really cool. I mean, we talked about, like, it was almost like a Gardner, when we used to have those staff meetings. It's like everything would get turned up. And everyone would have ideas, and everyone would be playing on each other. It was a really good vibe, which makes me think the people in the Northwest also are groovy. So they got that going.
Sure.
And then finally, Friday, which was the day after the conference, that Friday I got to spend the morning at the conference, and then I had the afternoon off, and then I left Saturday. But that morning, they wanted to all get together and figure out how to build their own DS-106 model site for the consortium called NWACO.
Okay.
And they were going to basically,
awesome.
Starting January, they're going to run their own group.
Okay.
And it's going to run parallel to DS-106, and they're going to deal with it, tweak it to what they want, but they're going to stream it into DS-106.
Nice.
So they built a core site that they're managing, and they were just amazing.
Yeah.
A great group of people, and the best group I've ever gone and talked to and then been a part of. I really was blown away. So, NWAC, you were great. That was a great time. Hey, Akimoto, who invited me, and I think Amy Green was actually behind me coming there, but gave me these, which is kind of, she said, a traditional Hawaiian kind of salute to anyone who comes. You give them gifts. So, given that you don't hold too much of a grudge against me, I want to give you a Mauna Loa.
Mauna Loa.
Thank you. How do I say it?
Mauna Loa.
Here's a Mauna Loa for you.
Is this
Or
safe?
Mauna Loa.
And then here's a
Is this some special
Mauna
stuff?
Loa. I got more.
Macadamia nuts.
I got some for all of you, too, out there listening in DS106
Should
or
I give it to
DTLT.
him?
Yeah, throw it at them.
Here you go.
Yeah, they gave me all sorts of presents. It was just a cool place to go and present and hang out. So I had a great time in Portland. That afternoon, this is the first time I've done this in ages. I was done. I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I went and I had great Mexican, Tex-Mex. Then I went and I saw Contagion by Steve Soderbergh.
Yeah, and you said you kind of liked it?
I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I didn't think it was brilliant, but I thought it was kind of... You know who I really liked in it? Matt Damon.
Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, Soderbergh, I can take a leave, but it was just great to walk around a city, go see a movie, hang out, and then I went to bed that night for 13 hours, and then got on the plane. And then I did the DS106
The
airborne crash.
Yeah.
The Mile High broadcast.
The Mile High broadcast, which seemed to catch people's imagination on the internet, which was interesting. I mean, Julia's mashup was awesome because I had just seen that video of that woman with the high cheekbones talking and very seductively telling you, put on your seatbelt. And then she mixes that up with that, which is brilliant. So that was my 2 weeks. I mean, a lot of it was kind of working from Cast Iron Coding, which Cast Iron Coding is the organization run by my friend Zach Davis, who hosted me, and they're the ones who host UMW blogs. Right. So it was great to be able to sit down with them and hang out with all them, but also I worked from them. When I was emailing you guys during the week, I was just every day at their office, just working. So it was cool to be able to work remotely from there and do that stuff. And I don't feel that far behind right now.
I was going to say, what did you get done while you were there?
Don't put him on the spot, eh?
What tangible evidence of you actually working in Portland would we be able to see? Did you blog?
Oh, no.
No, I didn't see any blog posts.
No,
you tweeted every once in a while.
I did. I mean, that's to happen to me. I mean, I don't know how other people are. You just don't blog at all, so you can't really...
You can't relate.
So
I think I blogged more than you did while you were gone.
Maybe. But
sad state of affairs.
The fact is that when I'm into something, when I'm locked in, if it's not directly relevant to blogging, although I have a big blog brewing about Portland, I can't do it. I have to be either involved in one thing or not.
Julia knows. Julia can answer the question about what I blogged about.
Andy blogged about Salvador Dali, yes, but that's Salvador Dali that he got from my tweet.
Oh, wow. So you're taking credit for my blogs now, okay.
Well, you saw an UbuWeb link from me, followed it, and you found this long-lost Salvador Dali, which I read too, Julia, this long-lost Salvador Dali clip with him doing this trick. Mm-hmm. And you said, if it wasn't for Jim Groom, I wouldn't have blogged.
Well, but
that was my little homage to that was I'm missing you, Jim.
That was the big toe.
Jim, come home. That's right, big toe,
which
come home.
I love. Sergeant Holka.
Well, and you're the director now, so you don't really even have to answer to Andy about these.
No, but I have to answer like Steve Greenlaw,
yeah.
Who's like, you've been gone so long. I was like, everybody, really, when I'm around, no one cares.
Yeah, that's right. Noise Professor says, you're the man now. You are the man. Yeah. Bringing us down.
That's right.
Noise Professor? Step into my office.
Occupy DTLT.
And
we're the 99%.
One of the first things that the man does is takes credit for their employees, what they do. So,
I wish I could do that in your case.
So you take it credit. All right.
Why do you work on doing something?
Something worth taking credit.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I am the veteran here, by the way.
Well, Jim, it's good to have you back.
Well, it's good to be back.
Yep. What Tim said.
Really? So, what do you think about this? I got a question, suggestion. Why don't we take DTLT and we'll move it out to Portland, but we'll still support the faculty at Mary Washington. You guys be interested in Portland? You not so much with the weather, the rain.
Yeah, I would need a little bit more sunshine than apparently they have out there.
It's not cold though.
I understand.
And the rain, look, you're not going to get a metropolis like Portland in the South. Atlanta,
It's true.
maybe New Orleans, but that thing's on the water.
Portland was always on my list of places to go and maybe see about living, but I just hear...
I feel like we need to be out in California.
No.
No?
California, look. California can't balance its budget. They're like laying off everybody.
How's
How's
Oregon's budget?
Much
doing?
better.
Much better.
Oh, well, okay. That settles it.
Ask,
Absolutely.
you know, Washington, though, is getting killed like California.
Right.
Oregon somehow is a bit of a bubble.
Mm.
And they might have it bad. I mean, it seems like the West is getting what we got like a year ago. It always happens. The economy takes a little bit longer to hit West. But California's particular. Yeah, it's a time zone thing. Just it moves slower with economy. That's something the economy should cover. But the thing is California, I mean, they're shot. I mean, they're still recovering from Enron, I think. I think this is all a result of just how much Enron drained their ass.
Right. Becky, that mother that can't take the California.
She's in California.
Yeah.
Exactly. She is. But I'm telling you, I got newfound respect for the PST. You know?
Yeah. We're still on the East. We're still... Well, actually, we're in...
Well, that's a DS-106
Yeah, we are in
radio.
DST
That's
now.
a DS-106 radio reference. You might not get that.
No, I
was talking
get it.
to Tim.
Sorry, we'll continue to hold down the EST until you actually come back to us, because clearly you left a little piece of your heart
you
in the
get
PST.
on the radio?
I do.
Oh.
I play my
I
music.
thought you just did your little TV now.
I play my music on my iPhone.
Yeah, on your iPhone, but not on the radio. That's not
I
the
do.
radio.
What?
Just because you're playing music on your iPhone doesn't mean you're on the radio. You actually have to connect to the radio and broadcast.
Yeah, I do that.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
You just don't, what?
Radio
Broadcast
cast?
it? Because I haven't heard you on the radio, and I've been watching the tweets. There's no live from.
I subscribe to your blog, sir.
Yeah, exactly. That's like Andy's question about evidence.
I do.
Like, do you have any evidence
You can ask Julia.
that you've been tweeting? That
Julia
on the radio?
will completely back me up on this. I broadcast from my teetotaler in-laws' house,
That's right.
What are you talking
which is
about?
awesome.
Up in the attic.
I do. I talk about how I'm drinking in my bedroom.
Okay. That's interesting. I hope you really get out soon to your own little apartment.
It's not
I know you're
interesting
like,
at all.
how old are you?
It's just sad.
How old are you now?
I don't. 29
29. And you're living where?
with my wife's parents.
And that's why you're so into this TV. Because that's all you have.
That's all I got left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I really do hope you get out. At
Thank
least, you know.
Appreciate it, boss.
Yeah. With the boys like this, I don't really have to
Good
worry
talk.
about being one-upped.
Right. Wow. And on that note,
Yeah,
No,
I think we should...
not yet.
Oh, we got a little bit more? You got
Yeah.
more?
So the other thing
so
is
much
this.
for that old 15-minute thing.
I'm leaving again tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
right.
won't be back till Thursday.
Yeah. Wow. Why would you want to take a job anywhere else?
I don't know.
Yeah, you might as well just retire here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I can see it now. In-laws for life. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
DTLT.
That is it.
We'll let you go.
That's all
Thanks
there
for
is
joining
to
us,
it.
folks.
Peace.
Thank you.